Hi everyone, it's Tamara with another card making tutorial. This time I'm using the awesome image from Elvi Studio, Wonder Woman. I'm going to be doing some Copic colouring of Wonder Woman, some ink blending using a stencil, and then some card making construction tutorial. So we'll start with the Copic colouring and then come in with the card construction. So I've grabbed out my Make Art Station and the Radiating Rays stencil die from MFT. I've just put a little bit of tape onto my Make Art Station to hold my piece of cardstock in place, and just using the magnets I'm just going to pop that Radiating Rays in place. And I'm working with my domed sponge applicators just to apply a small amount of the Chipped Sapphire Distress Oxide to the center, and then I'm going to use another sponge to add the Salvaged Patina, and I'm just kind of making sure that I'm pushing out along the rays to make sure that they don't move as I'm applying my ink to my stencil. So you'll see me shortly just adjust where my magnets are, because I was kind of lifting up some of the rays and I just wanted to make sure that they were still in place. So I've added the extra Salvaged Patina, just going to work that out until I've got a nice smooth blend, and we'll set that aside to dry. Now that this panel's dry, I've just popped on Wonder Woman just to work out roughly how much I want to trim this panel down to. So in the end, I do trim it down to 13 centimeters by 12.5. So I just grabbed out my tonic trimmer and just lining it up just to get it roughly cut on either side and also along the top and bottom. So just move that down, and I did need to trim it a little bit more on the left-hand side to make sure that that round circle was centered to my panel. I've grabbed this burst die and pow die from my stash. Unfortunately, I don't know where I got this from because I've got rid of the packaging, but on some scrap white cardstock, I did do some ink blending using the Chipped Sapphire, so the burst die would kind of match in with my Radiating Rays at the back of Wonder Woman. I've grabbed out also another piece of scrap cardstock, and just using this Lawn Fawn set, I'm just using the sub-sentiment of Let's Celebrate. I thought that would work really well with the POW to make my sub-sentiment. So using my VersaFine Onyx Black ink, I'm just going to give that a double stamp up, and we'll just set that aside to dry while we construct everything else. I'm wanting just like a blue panel to the back of my Radiating Rays so that it kind of ties all in together. So I just have to make sure I'm putting it around the right way to make sure that it's even on all sides, because it isn't quite a square that I've got. Now that my sentiment's dry, I've just grabbed out this banner die from my stash and just going to line it up so that I can get a perfect size banner cut out for my Let's Celebrate. So as you can see, I've popped it down one end to make sure that it's even. I'm making sure that it is properly sized on this end so that we have the perfect size sentiment banner for our sub-sentiment. So now we'll get our POW attached to our burst. So I'm just popping a little bit of glue on each of the letters and just using my reversible tweezers to help me get that properly placed. It's great with the O, it's cut out perfectly so that it just fits in like right up against the P. And you can just see me wiping any excess glue away. And also the W works really well, it just lines up straight against that O. So now our POW is all done. We'll get all our panels attached now. So the Radiating Rays ink blended panel will go on our blue panel. Just making sure that you're putting it on the right way and that you've got that nice even border all the way around. And my card base I've already cut and scored, so we'll get that panel glued onto the front. Again, I'll have all the measurements in the description box below for all my panels and card. So we'll just make sure that's lined up with a nice white border around the edges. And now we'll get everything else attached to the front. So I'm wanting to pop up a Wonder Woman, so I'm just going to add some foam tape just around her to make sure she's propped up and firm so that she doesn't move when I post her. So we'll just make sure that we've got a little bit up on her hair and down near her arm. So I've taken off all the release paper. We'll just get her lined up the front like she's bursting out with that Radiating Rays, and make sure she's secured down. So I'm just going to place out now where I want my sentiments to go. Initially I was going to just put it on straight, but I think it's going to look better kind of angled off to the left, so it also looks like it's coming out from those Radiating Rays. Now because I'm going to have the kind of sub-sentiment partially sitting over my burst die. I'm just using some foam squares and putting them on both so that it is the same height. So I've taken off all the release paper. So we'll get our power down first, just angling it off to the left, and then we'll make sure we've got that up the right way, and we'll get our sub-sentiment kind of partially sitting over that burst die, and again angled off to that left. So it'd be perfectly fine to leave the card like this, but I wanted to add a little bit of bling. So I'm just cut out some star dies just from a star die that I had in my stash. And I'm just working out roughly where to place these around Wonder Woman. And again, I'm going to kind of have them all angled off the same way that Radiating rays are angled. So I've glued them all down. So I hadn't pressed record when I glued them on. But now I'm just going to add a bit of Glossy Accents just to kind of make these look like real embellishments that you might have bought from a shop. It just gives them a little bit of extra shine. So I'm just going to pop a small amount. Just be very careful as you're adding this to your stars when it's on your card project that you don't go over the edges onto your ink blending. So we'll just set that aside to dry. And now that those are dry, this is the finished card project for this tutorial. And as you can see, just putting that Glossy Accents onto those stars just gives it that added pop of shine. I hope you've enjoyed this card making tutorial. If you have, please hit the like button. And if you'd like to see any future tutorials, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.